Tell me what your experiences have been, Paul, as far as interfaith environment work, the good, bad, whatever. Just how's it worked out, do you think?
Well, I think it's worked out very well. For one thing, it's a chance to get the religious community together. We have a pretty wide variety of religious groups, even in a small place like Marquette. So it's good not only for the environment, I think, but it's good to get people together, form a community, and I think that other things can be done besides environmental work. Though of course that's the reason that that we're together now. One of the advantages of living in a small place like this is that it is a community, and if we don't take advantage of that, we might as well go live in an anonymous city somewhere.
We get a lot of input from people saying, we like what you're doing, we just don't know how to get started. They've never talked to their local Buddhist pastor.
In some ways this group is like every other group. It depends upon individuals. Oftentimes to get a group started you need people who are very committed to the project, you need people who have time to do it, and fortunately we've got that, and the Earth Keepers. This fellow sitting right next to me is one of the people that's got the commitment, and without John, the group just wouldn't exist. And so you need that core group that's got the energy and to get things moving. That's true of any group, I think. We're not special in that respect.
One of the things that I've appreciated about Paul's work with us on behalf of the Buddhist community in terms of the interfaith work is what I would call my experience of re-enchantment of the natural world. I think that several of the great thinkers in the last 20th century from the Christian tradition, Thomas Merton, Paul Tillich, felt that the dialogue between East and West was going to really be the frontier, in a sense the renewal of the Christian community is to deepen this conversation. And I think the contributions of the Zendo and the Buddhist community here in Earth Keepers has just been invaluable. So the enchantment of nature is something I've been fascinated about, and going about kind of work as normal or chores as normal takes on a whole new meaning when things become animated and you realize you're a part of a web of life that is sacred. And I think this is a lot more than about our efforts in Earth Keepers are a lot more than collecting trash or preventing pollution. It's a deepening of awareness, a deepening of sensibility about what it means to live in the world and on the planet as a garden.
What would be your advice to someone who doesn't know their Catholic friend or their Jewish friend? How do you get that started?
There's a wonderful work can happen when people decide that they need to think about these things. Sometimes these things happen on probably two different levels. First of all, it's what I would call the coffee shop level, and that is when people who know each other and care for each other are visiting and are talking about this, and they can say, yep, I can do this, we can do this together, even though we don't worship in the same building, even though we don't have the same heritage and tradition of faith. And that is the grassroots level. And when we talk to our clergy and we talk to our religious leadership, and we say, please encourage this to happen in our parish, in our community, that's on one level. The second thing is to say that among the leadership of the churches, that is where it also has to happen. And so denominational leaders, religious leaders, spiritual leaders, bishops and district superintendents and all the other denominational leaders need to put their heads together and think about this. And people from the congregations can make that happen too when they talk to their denominational heads and encourage this and provide funding for this in their parishes and make things happen. That's how this can all happen.